I've argued with a certain degree of vigor and prescience that Tulsi Gabbard should be on that debate stage. I've even argued that if you're a lefty, regardless of the candidate that you should want her on that debate stage. You should want her particular point of view espoused, that anti-war point of view. You should want the other candidates in the race, some of which are neocons, to respond and deal with that lefty point of view, that perspective on intervention where we don't necessarily want our boot being used to bash in other nations. I've argued this because I think the more lefties on the stage, the better, regardless of who your candidate is. If your candidate is indeed a lefty, you should want that point of view espoused to the American public, because there will be so few people on that debate stage to espouse that point of view in earnest. There's one more lefty that's in this race. Mike Gravel. Senator, Representative Mike Gravel. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. And no, you are not experiencing deja vu. I've done this video once. I didn't particularly like the video, and I thought the video went too long. So let's try to move this particular video along to make it a little bit more concise. Mike Gravel. So before I start, if you guys enjoyed this content and you find yourself coming back to this channel often, please consider supporting this content through PayPal or Patreon. They demonetize these videos seemingly willy-nilly. So even $1 helps. Now, that said, I got some news from Mike Gravel. They sent it to me in a text message. And the big announcement is that Mike Gravel is only 1,400 donors away from qualifying for getting on the debate stage. Now, you have no idea how much I want Mike Gravel on that debate stage. I want Gravel on that debate stage to the same degree to which I wanted Ted Cruz to lose that race to Beto. That's how much I want him to be on that debate stage. And if any of you were watching me on that night where the elections were coming in, you saw how crushed I was when Beto lost the race to Ted Cruz. Not so much I like Beto, it's just greatly dislike Ted Cruz. Look, for those of you who don't know who Gravel is, Gravel has been in Congress, or was in Congress, going all the way back to the 60s. He's a former senator from Alaska from 1969 to 1981, and before that he was in the House of Representatives from 65 to 67. Also, one of the big mentions about Gravel is that he read into record the Pentagon Papers. Now, these were the papers that got across the atrocious policies that the United States was taking in Vietnam, the outright illegal policies that the U.S. was taking in Vietnam. And if I'm not mistaken, got Daniel Ellsberg off the hook. Gravel has been strident anti-war going back to the 60s. And I say that to say, the reason I say that is because one of the big pat on the backs, one of the big things that Sanders supporters, people like me, like about Sanders, is that there's a certain earnestness about the position. And you know that earnestness because the position has been there for the last 30, 40 years. Same thing is true with Gravel. My experience with Gravel goes back to the 2002 election. And he was on that debate stage, and I remember him browbeating Obama, Clinton, and Biden. And at the time, I was firmly within the camp of the Democratic Party, so I didn't quite understand why this guy who's, why are you attacking Obama, man? Now I understand why he was attacking Obama. And you have no idea how awesome it was that he did it, whether or not I understood his reasonings or even understood why he was doing it. He's been doing this for a long time. And all lefties, any random lefty should want him on that debate stage. Even $1 does it. I want to show you a video he did. Back in 2008, he released the video called Rock. This video boiled down to him taking a rock, throwing it into the lake, looking into the camera, and walking away. And people were like, what the hell did we just see? Now, it's somewhat of a philosophical piece, clearly, even though it's a campaign ad. My assumption was that he was trying to show that one person can make a difference in this thing of creating ripples, meaning one action, one person, one voice can do something that brings or radiates out into the larger population. They're there. They can be stimulated. You just need something to do so. At least that's my takeaway from it. I could be wrong. He's released a second video, Rock 2.0, and I think this video is even more badass than the first one. I'm gonna just play it. But this gives you this notion of his politics, his perspective. I think what you're going to find is that his perspective was ahead of his time. And him being in the primary now, almost like, essentially it's like the world has caught up to him, or the United States populace, or the left has caught up to his ideas. I love it. Let's take a listen.
But let's maybe bring up the topic of the day, which is the Green New Deal.
How much will this cost? That's unclear. How will we pay for it? Unknown.
It's not realistic.
Because there's no way to pay for it.
It's immoral.
The younger generation.
I stopped this video last time, and I'm going to stop it again. That is an astonishing perspective. Not only is it not possible, which is nonsense, but it's immoral. Now, Kennedy said we're going to go to the goddamn moon, and they had the technology of a calculator. But in his mind, coffee guy, it is impossible for us to get our affairs in order. The affairs that I'm talking about in order is an asteroid that's going to hit the planet. We are literally told by scientists, the people who explain our work to us, that we have 12 years to get our house in order. And by the way, they don't know that it's 12 years. Many people have said it is already too late and that you can't do anything about it. But 12 years, the people who explain your world, who built his coffee machines, who explain the process by which he can even serve coffee to the people, and crafting and making everything else. I'm talking about our scientists, our engineers. They're saying you have 12 years left. In his mind, it's immoral. Think about what we're saying here. Life on planet Earth is at risk. There is an asteroid that is going to hit the planet. We are not governed by capitalistic forces. Those aren't all that real. Those things are mental conceptions. We are governed by real things. There is a moon. There is, the sun is a star. We are hurling through the cosmos at fantastic speeds. Those are real things. I'm a person. I can touch my wife. Those things are real. Your conception of cash is not. And this notion that you're going to put something real over top of something that is not is extraordinarily problematic. Not just sadistic. Don't take my dollars, dog. Don't take my dollars. The world is at risk. I get that, but don't take my dollars. Don't take my dollars. It's astonishing. Then called it immoral. It's not what's immoral, buddy.
Generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy.
I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons.
I think Medicare for All is one of the possible paths.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. This was a little controversial in San Francisco.
That makes me apoplectic. What she's giggling through is that she was threatening parents who were homeless. In this case, the story that she was referring to, she was threatening a mom who was homeless, who had apparently 2 kids or who had kids. And she was threatening that homeless mom with jail time if she doesn't get her kids in order. Now, the problem here is that the mother is homeless, not that the fact that the kids aren't going to school. If you're talking about an order of magnitude of issues, the fact that the mom is homeless seems to be the issue. And you giggling your way through threatening of locking this woman up as if she already doesn't have enough problems. But yeah, busing is the issue. That's the issue.
Did ask you yes or no. Would you support
No.
free college for all?
I am not for free 4-year college for all, no.
Human beings.
Mike's not having it. This, whether you realize it or not, that is probably the most epic aspect of this. A man rises. Not just a man rises, an old man rises. And not just an old man rises that look like he's at some kind of retirement home, who feels like he needs to come back out of retirement because of how bad things have gotten. Oh, I love it. God, I love that part. A man stands up.
Are being killed as I speak to you tonight, killed as a direct result of policy decisions we as a body have made.
This approach of war on drugs has not succeeded. We've spent billions of dollars on it.
And we fill up our prisons to the point where we're the embarrassment of the world. We're supposed to be a democracy. We've got more people in prison, 2.3 million people in prison.
We spend more as a nation on defense than all the rest of the world put together.
This whole nation should be a sanctuary for the world. I'm ashamed as an American to be building a fence on our southern border.
By the way, I know that sounds like he's, the Republican policy. That was Democratic policy. Whether Clinton made the same argument for the fence. Now, whether you want to call it a fence, a wall, a border, or whatever, at the very least, Democratic policy was we want a barrier at the border. That's what he's arguing about. I know it sounds like he's taking a shot at Trump. He's taking a shot at the Clintons and the Obamas and the other tough guys at the border. And one more point. Understand what he's espousing has been taking place over the last 50, 60 years. And he is just now caught up, or we have just now caught up to him, meaning from the standpoint of the left. Anti-war, issues of anti-poverty, and pushing back against, for all intents and purposes, a capitalistic overreach. What's not to like about him? Let's keep going.
That's not the America that I fought for.
Our soldiers died in Vietnam in vain. You can now, John, go to Hanoi and get a Baskin-Robbins ice cream cone.
Why do they hate us so in so many places around the world?
Because we kill so many people wantonly. Oh, Joe, I'll include you too. You have a certain arrogance. You want to tell the Iraqis how to run their country.
And we can get off of gasoline in 5 years, and we can get off of carbon in 10 years. All we got to do is want to do it.
Just play.
Green New Deal. Green New Deal. And if I'm not mistaken, even more aggressive within regards to the timelines than AOC. His point is, look, you prioritize what you want to do and you do it. When Kennedy went out saying we're going to go to the moon, it wasn't so much that Kennedy knew exactly how to get to the moon at the moment that he said it. It's just he prioritized it as something that was necessary for national security. And in being so, we're going to do it. We have the technical acumen. We have the people who can figure out how to do it. We just need to prioritize that this is what we're going to do. And we do it. Now, the other guy who was screaming that this was somehow immoral, it's possible. AOC is coming up with the Green New Deal. Now, the Green New Deal is not necessarily a fixed thing per se. It's more so just kind of these guidelines that she wants to accomplish. How you accomplish them is somewhat left open. But he is talking about this back in 2008. 2008.
Get out. It's their country. They're asking us to leave, and we insist on staying there. The military-industrial complex not only controls our government, lock, stock, and barrel, but they control our culture.
It's time to make some waves for change. I'm Mike Gravel, and I'm running for president.
And then an old man, that all things being said should probably be in a retirement home somewhere, living out the rest of his days and happy and so forth, has felt the need to get into the race. And I'm glad that he did. Glad that he did. I'm going to put, and just for anybody who's late to the show, Mike Gravel is 1,400 away from getting on a debate stage. 1,400 unique donations away from getting on the Democratic debate stage. Mike Gravel has had an amazing historical precedent, or has an amazing historical record, let's say it that way. And again, I make this argument like I made the argument for Tulsi Gabbard. I want as many lefties on that stage as possible. I want them answering as many questions as possible. I want them knocking down as much of the neocon stuff as possible. And I want them to be this kind of shining light to who is the real lefty, as opposed to these people parroting those policies because they think they needed to get it in order to get through the primaries. There's a difference in those things. And I want that on a debate stage for people to be able to see the difference in those things. Gravel, Sanders, Gabbard. I want all of them on those debate stages for as long as they can possibly be on those debate stages. Sanders is probably going to be there forever. Gabbard is the one who's going to have to get on there for the third time around. But at the very least, Mike Gravel's 1,400 away from getting there on the second debate night. His information, if you want to see Gravel on that debate stage as much as I do, is this. MikeGravel.org/donate. That's, by the way, this is not a push. This is not me telling you to donate to Mike Gravel. I just want to be that clear. This is me more so saying, I did it. And if you want to see him on a debate stage, have at it. There's a distinction in those things, if that makes sense. All right, guys. I'll end it here. Thanks all.